I've always believed in cutting ties clean. If something's broken beyond repair, you let it go and move on. But life doesn't always make it that simple. I was 28 when I married her. Let's call her Samantha. She was beautiful, the kind of woman that made heads turn in any room. Sharp eyes, confident smile, always dressed to impress. I met her at a friend's birthday party, and within 3 months we were inseparable. At least I thought we were. Looking back, I probably married her for all the wrong reasons. I was young, stupid, and probably just caught up in the thrill of it all. There wasn't real love. Not the kind that lasts. Just lust, surface-level chemistry, and a lot of pretending. A year into the marriage, I realized I'd made a huge mistake. We were constantly fighting. She'd manipulate, gaslight, twist words. Everything was always about her. But when I finally said I wanted a divorce, she shut me down like it was a business deal gone bad. No, I don't agree. Unless you pay me. I thought she was joking. She wasn't. In our state, unless both parties agree to divorce, one of them has to be proven at fault. Infidelity, abuse, etc. Otherwise, it drags on or you have to negotiate. She set a price. $100,000. Yeah. 100 grand. Just to agree to the divorce. We had no kids, no shared property, nothing to really fight over. But she knew I wanted out, and she saw an opportunity. She wanted money to start over, or so she claimed. Said she gave me her best years. Said I was the one giving up. I didn't have $100,000 lying around, obviously. I could maybe pull together $25,000 if I sold some stocks and borrowed from my dad. And I offered that. She laughed. We argued. Weeks turned to months. I was stuck in a marriage I wanted no part of. Sleeping in the guest room. Living like a damn prisoner in my own house. And then, the universe intervened. It was a Friday night, and my buddy Marcus told me I needed to blow off steam. Come out, have a drink. Stop sulking in your cave. I agreed. I needed the break. We ended up in a new bar in a part of town I had never even been to. Total fluke. Neon lights, loud music, packed crowd. It was almost enough to make me forget my personal hell. Almost. At around 2:30 in the morning, we stepped outside to call it a night. That's when it happened. I saw her, Samantha, walking out of the bar on the opposite end of the street, arm in arm with a man. Tall, clean-cut, looked like a tech guy or something. They were laughing close, too close. She was in that dress, the one she used to say she only wore for me. I froze, heart pounding, and then a taxi pulled up. They got in. I don't know what came over me, but I flagged down the cab behind them and told the driver, "Follow that car." It was like a scene from a movie. The ride was quiet. I sat there, gripping my phone, heart racing, trying to convince myself this was real. And then, they pulled up. At my house. My house. I told the driver to stop a little down the street. I got out and walked behind the bushes, pulling out my phone. I didn't want to make a scene, I just needed proof. I watched as they got out, laughing, stumbling a little, clearly drunk and cozy. Then she turned toward him and kissed him. Full on. Click, click. 2 photos. Clear as day. They walked toward the door. That's when I stepped out from behind the bushes. "Evening," I said. They froze. She looked like she'd seen a ghost. The guy looked confused. I smiled. "Hi, I'm Samantha's husband. I just wanted to thank you." He blinked. "Excuse me? Thanks for saving me thousands of dollars. You two have a great night. Just one request. Don't have sex in my bed." I handed him my business card. "If you ever want to grab a beer, let me know." And then I walked past them, unlocked the door, and went upstairs. I swear I could feel her burning holes into my back with her eyes. But I didn't care. I had what I needed. Proof. The next morning was tense, to say the least. She tried to argue, said it wasn't cheating because we had agreed to divorce. But there was no agreement in writing. No legal document. Nothing filed. She knew it. And I knew it. Later that day, I got a phone call. It was him, the guy from the night before. He introduced himself. Let's call him Jake. Jake was pissed. Not at me. At her. Jake sounded hesitant at first. Polite, careful with his words. I owe you an apology, he said. I chuckled. Man, you didn't know. Don't worry about it. He paused. Still, I feel like a fool. She told me you two were already divorced. That she was just staying with you temporarily until paperwork finalized. She said you hadn't been together in over a year. I didn't interrupt him. I let him talk. Then he said something that flipped everything upside down. She told me she hadn't slept with anyone else since we met. That she was over you. But last night, after you left, she panicked. She confessed you'd still been intimate recently. She lied to me. I could hear the betrayal in his voice. She didn't just cheat on you, man, he said. She cheated on me too. I asked if he had any proof they'd been dating. He laughed bitterly. Oh, I've got plenty, he said. Later that day, Jake and I met up at a diner near my office. The irony of two men meeting to compare notes about the same woman wasn't lost on either of us. He brought his phone and laptop. I brought a flash drive. Over 2 cups of coffee, Jake showed me everything. Photos of them on dates. Text message exchanges. Her telling him she was finally free. Her telling him I was controlling and emotionally abusive. Her telling him I didn't touch her, didn't care about her. Lie after lie after lie. Some of the screenshots were damning. Her saying she wanted him to move in soon. Her saying she couldn't wait to start over with someone who respected her. But the real gold? Timestamps. Photos and messages going back 6 months. Which lined up with when she and I were still very much married. And yes, still being physically intimate on and off. I backed up everything. 3 copies. 1 on a USB drive I hid at work. 1 on an external hard drive at my parents' house. 1 on cloud storage under a name she'd never guess. Paranoia? Maybe. But I knew Samantha. She was manipulative. Smart. And if she ever found out I had this kind of evidence, she'd stop at nothing to destroy it. This wasn't about revenge anymore. It was survival. That Saturday, I asked her to sit down with me. Kitchen table. Afternoon light streaming in through the blinds. No yelling. No accusations. Just calm, calculated facts. I opened my laptop. Showed her the folder. Before you say anything, I said, just know I've backed this up in 3 places. You can't erase it. You can't threaten me. And I don't want to fight you in court. Her eyes widened. I could see the fear flash for just a second before she masked it with her usual indifference. This is blackmail, she said. I shook my head. No, this is leverage. There's a difference. Then I laid it out. Option A, we file for an uncontested divorce Monday. You walk away with nothing. No money. No property. I give you 30 days to move out. No drama. Option B, I hire a lawyer. File for divorce on grounds of adultery. Drag your name through court. Sue for damages. And bury you in paperwork and legal fees until you're drowning in debt. She didn't respond right away. So I stood up. Closed the laptop. You've got 24 hours to decide. She didn't need 24 hours. That Monday morning, we went to the courthouse together. She didn't say a word the entire ride there. Uncontested divorce papers signed. No alimony. No financial claims. No property disputes. Judge asked us if we were in agreement. We both nodded. He stamped the document. I swear I felt 100 pounds lift off my chest. She had 30 days to move out, per our verbal agreement. But she left after 10. I think she couldn't stand being in that house knowing she lost. I moved in with Marcus for a few weeks, crashed on his couch, played Xbox, drank cheap beer. Felt like college again. That house? I sold it. Didn't want the memories. Took a vacation. Spent some of that money I would have handed to her. And when I came back, I finally felt free. Funny twist? Jake and I actually became friends. We started grabbing beers every couple of weeks, joking about the dark chapter we both survived. Turns out he was a good guy, honest, hardworking, and just as blindsided as I was. During the pandemic, we drifted apart a bit. Life got in the way, but there was never bad blood, just mutual understanding. 2 men, 1 hurricane, and a clean escape. Years have passed. Sometimes, When I'm lying in bed listening to the rain tapping against the window, I think back to that night. The night I walked out of the bar and, as if by some cosmic joke, saw my wife with another man. Was it fate? Karma? Pure luck? Maybe all of the above. Sometimes, life forces you to face the truth head-on just so you can finally be free. Justice doesn't always come in a courtroom. Sometimes it shows up at 2:30 a.m. in the back of a taxi. And when it does, you realize, the sweetest revenge is silence. Peace. Clean break. I didn't ruin her life. I simply walked out of it. As for Jake, we drifted apart during the COVID years, but I'll always be thankful he unknowingly handed me the key to my freedom. Funny enough, in that messed up love triangle, he turned out to be the most honest one. What happened to her? I honestly don't know, and I honestly don't care, because this story isn't about her. And it's not even about Jake. It's about a guy who was supposed to pay $100,000 to get a divorce, and instead paid nothing, and walked away smiling. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe. We share real Reddit stories. Raw, unfiltered, and full of emotion. You're watching Reddit Real Talk, where we tell it like it is. See you in the next story.